Welcome back. Now, Liverpool have already made some big moves in the transfer window, completing the signings of Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong, but they aren't done yet. Mark McAdam, as you can see, is here to go through the latest transfer news, and seems like they might be busy again, Liverpool.
Liverpool getting close to a third signing of the summer, and we're, still in June.
Yeah.
Shows that very targeted business. They've obviously had a clear plan that they want to execute for this summer's window. The Premier League champions getting stronger and close to a third player. That player is going to be Bournemouth defender Milos Kerkez. We understand the deal is all agreed. It's going to be a £40 million deal, and it's one of those rare situations where it's actually £40 million with no add-ons. The player is currently in Serbia, but heading back to the UK today. He will start that Liverpool medical tomorrow. So you'd imagine tomorrow evening, maybe it will roll into Wednesday morning. Liverpool will get a brand new left-back. It raises issues and concerns. What they're going to do with Robertson. There's interest from Atletico Madrid there. Yeah. They've also got Tsimikas. You'd probably think that one of those two players would be departing Anfield over the course of this summer, because they're not going to want three left-backs in that team. But Milos Kerkez, someone that joined Bournemouth a couple of summers ago for £15 million, so that represents a really good profit for them. Someone who started 38 games in the Premier League out of 38, so he's robust, he's got that experience. He's got a wonderful left foot when he gets that singing, and he can put in some quality into that box. So he could be a really strong addition, and someone that's got a couple of years of Premier League experience. So just to confirm the news there, he's flying into the UK today, medical at some stage tomorrow. Maybe it will be completed tomorrow, but possibly Wednesday. A couple of other players to keep an eye on at Liverpool. Jarell Quansah. We know that there's an agreement in place with Bayer Leverkusen, which is around €40 million, £34 million. He's currently on international duty with the England under-21s, who play on Wednesday night in the semi-final. We're not expecting any movement between now and then. Of course, it depends on how England get on as to how quickly that deal will accelerate. And another player that you mentioned going into the break, someone on Liverpool's radar, but just someone on the radar at the moment, the Crystal Palace defender Marc Guehi, 24 years old. He goes into his final year at the moment. We understand it would have to be a really sizable offer for Steve Parish to say, OK, we'll let go of our captain. There are some reports that suggest he may leave on a free next summer. Right. One to keep an eye on.
They turned down a big offer from Newcastle.
Big offers from Newcastle. I think it totalled around 65 to 70 million pound in the end. The Crystal Palace chairman rejected that last summer. He stayed at Palace, got an FA Cup winners' medal, someone that was hugely important to the team. And like we say, he's on the radar for Liverpool. But there's been no formal contact. There's no progression on the deal. It's just someone they're aware of. And if they should go into the market to look for a centre-back, we know they were interested in Dean Howson before he went to Real Madrid. So it's definitely a position that they're looking at. Yeah. But other than interest, nothing more formal at this stage.
Just on that, though, they've got Konaté, they've got Virgil van Dijk, who are pretty much guaranteed they're starting two centre-backs. What does that mean possibly for Konaté then?
Well, Konaté goes into the last year of his current Liverpool contract, so they've either got a situation where they try and offer him an extension and get him to stay at Anfield for a longer period of time, or they say we're going to lose him on a free next summer, or they could say, right, we need to cash in. Let's get some money now and see if we can reinvest that into the team and find someone else. So it's definitely an area that Liverpool fans should be keeping an eye on, and we know that Arne Slot and Richard Hughes are looking to strengthen at centre-back, so they're just to keep an eye on it, see how things develop. But there are players that they've got in mind. They do have a list of targets, and it could be a little bit of an interesting jigsaw puzzle at the back for Liverpool. Yeah,
we will keep you updated if anything happens on that front. I want to talk about Marcus Rashford, though, now. How about his future? Because he's spoken publicly about his desire to play with Lamine Yamal and with Barcelona. Seems as though they're looking at other options in that position, though.
Yeah, unfortunately for Marcus Rashford, he's not at the top of Barcelona's list with regards to potential incomings this summer in terms of wingers. He's on a list, but he's not near the top of the list. One player that we know that Barcelona are getting close to is the 19-year-old right winger from FC Copenhagen. He's only a youngster. Rooney Bagaji is his name. It's a £2 million deal, so it's not an expensive deal. However, whilst he is a right winger and they are looking to strengthen in that position, he's not their only target. Their number one target this summer is Nico Williams, someone who they've been keeping an eye on for some time. He's an outstanding player. He's got this release clause, which is around £55 million. However, the wages that come with a player of his calibre are not cheap, and we know that Barcelona financially don't have huge amounts of cash to spend, and they have to be very creative with the players they sign. Sometimes they can bring players in, but they can't always register them with La Liga. So they have to have La Liga on side to get deals over the line, and that means they have to be clever. It also means they can't spend huge amounts of money on players, hence why they may be interested in Marcus Rashford, but his wages would be a problem, and the fact that he's still got 3 years left on his current deal. But he was speaking over the course of the weekend with that Spanish YouTuber ex-buyer saying, I'd love to play with Lamine Yamal. He's a great player. Who wouldn't love to play with him? One to keep an eye on, that's for sure. One other little thing we'll just point out as well, we like a little bit of social media activity, and Alejandro Garnacho just put something on his Instagram, and I don't know, what does this mean? He's wearing his Marcus Rashford Aston Villa shirt. My brother, love heart. What's he saying there?
Well, I mean, he's saying that he doesn't mind annoying the fans because they're not going to enjoy that, are they?
Well, a current Manchester United player wearing an Aston Villa top. It's all fun and games.
Well, I don't think everyone will see it that way, sadly. It gives us something to talk about. How about Arsenal? We mentioned Nico Williams before, and Arsenal were linked with him for quite a while. That seems to have gone cold. It seems to be Barcelona possibly for him.
It's an expensive deal to make happen. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The release clause isn't that high, but when you look at the overall package with the agency fee, the wages, the bonuses, the signing on fee, it's an expensive one.
Yeah. There's another player, though, that Arsenal have been linked with for even longer. Now, tell me Arsenal are close to completing their first signing of the summer.
They are getting close. Martin Zubimendi nearly joined Liverpool last summer because they activated the release clause, but the player opted to stay in Spain for another season. He's in London at the moment, just finalising that deal, speaking to Arsenal, going through all the final details of that contract. We understand it's a £51 million release clause, which Arsenal have activated. It's only a matter of time now. I know there's been some rumours on social media about a hijack, about other clubs. Not going to happen. The agreement is in place. He's going to be joining Arsenal, and Mikel Arteta will get his first signing of the summer.
OK.
Calm down. Relax.
I'm fine. According to Sky Germany, goalkeeper Max Weiss will undergo a medical with Burnley today. What does that mean for James Trafford's future, the much sought after, apparently, James Trafford? Well,
the important thing to remember about Weiss is he's been playing in Bundesliga 2. He kept 8 clean sheets last season in the second tier of the German footballing pyramid. So he's not even been playing in the Bundesliga. He's 21 years old. He's a young goalkeeper. Weiss very much one for the future as opposed to someone who could play immediately. But the fact that Burnley are strengthening in that position, whilst there is interest in their number one, James Trafford, would maybe indicate that there are teams that are interested in making a deal happen over the course of this summer. We know there are Premier League sides. We know there are sides across Europe that like James Trafford. He had a phenomenal season in the Championship, was absolutely outstanding at times. I lost track of the clean sheets he was keeping, some of those big saves. So therefore, you'd imagine it could be an area where Burnley need to strengthen. But I wouldn't automatically put 2 and 2 together and say he's the replacement for James Trafford just yet.
OK. Great stuff as ever. Thank you, Mark.
This is Sport Lab, where football meets insight. Liverpool are flying through the summer window, and with Florian Wirtz completing his medical, a third major signing is nearly over the line. Here's what's happening. Liverpool's transfer strategy is turning heads. Florian Wirtz has completed his medical, Jeremy Frimpong is already through the door, and now Bournemouth's Milos Kerkez is on the brink of joining in a £40 million deal. Kerkez, ever present in the Premier League last season, is expected to finalise terms shortly, but his arrival raises questions over Andy Robertson and Kostas Tsimikas, as Liverpool won't keep 3 top-level left-backs. At centre-back, Jarell Quansah from Leverkusen remains a target, pending the under-21 Euros. Marc Guehi is also under watch, while Ibrahima Konaté's contract situation is becoming a silent subplot. Elsewhere, Barcelona's pursuit of Marcus Rashford looks unlikely due to finances. Instead, they're targeting younger talent like Rooney Baggy and Nico Williams. And over at Arsenal, they're close to completing a £51 million move for Martin Zubimendi, while Burnley's Max Weiss is set for a medical as interest grows around James Trafford. Wirtz is in, Kerkez is next, and Liverpool aren't done yet. Will Robertson or Tsimikas make way? Drop your thoughts below. And make sure to follow SportLab for sharp takes, daily transfer drops, and the stories behind the headlines.